Hi all, my name is Gaurav, and in this video we'll talk about comparable and comparator in Java. Basically, both are interfaces which help in comparing the two objects, and both helps us in sorting. But both have a different, purpose. So we'll see by a practical example how these two interfaces help us. So I have a very simple program where I have a list of integers and where I am adding the four elements. If I print this list, it will print the elements in order in which they were inserted. Like 12, 3, 1, 14, 12, 3, 1, 14. If I want to sort this, how can I sort this? One way is to use collections class, and inside that collections we have a sort method. I pass the argument list and I'll print this list after sorting. And I printed this list, and let's say I'm saying after sorting. Okay, let's run this program. So after sorting, it sorted the element. So it sorted element because integer class implements the comparable interface, and this comparable interface has one method compare to. So integer class is implementing this comparable interface, so it must implemented this compare to as well. So it has implemented this compare to method. So that is how integers get sorted. If we pass any list of integers to a collections class, sort function of collections class. Okay. Now let's say I have a class, custom class employee, and it has three attributes: employee ID, name, salary. Okay, and I created a list which can store the employee object. So I'll say list employee emp list is equal to new array list. In this, I'll add few employee. So how can I add? I'll create object new employee, employee ID 1. Let's say name is Kunal. So that the salary is 1000. Let's add three more. I'll just copy paste 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Employee ID 2, employee ID 3, employee ID 4. Let's say next name is Anu, 3000. Then Cora, 5000. Then Sor, let's say 2000. If I need to sort all those employee based on any attribute, let's say salary, can I do this with list with this sort function? Let's try. I'll say collections dot sort and I'll pass list. So it is giving me error. What it is saying, the method short list is a type of collection is not applicable for the argument list employee. Okay. So it is not understanding this. So what we will do, so similar way like integer implemented the comparable interface. I'll also implement the comparable interface. Implements comparable, and it it is working on employee class. So I'll pass the employee. Now it is saying that add unimplemented method. So basically it is asking to implement this compare to method. Okay. So let's say I want to sort those elements based on salary. So what I'll say if current employee salary is greater than this employee salary, given employee, which is O dot salary, then return 1. Basically, what it is saying, let's say our first salary is 1000. Okay. Second salary is, so let's say this is current object. Okay. Current object salary, which is this. And this is given object. Let's say given object is this second employee. So 1000, 3000. So it is checking if 1000 is greater than 3000. No. So don't do anything. Do not swap this. Return one means it will swap those elements. Okay. If this condition satisfies, but this condition is not satisfying, so it will not do anything. Similar way, if we have 3000 and 5000, so let's say now current employee is 3000. No. So salary is 3000 is greater than, and the given employee is, let's say, got this Saurabh 4000, 2000. So 3000 is greater than 2000. Yes, then swap those. So basically, it will swap those. 2000 will come first and 3000 later. And this will be, you don't need to worry, it will be automatically done if you return 1 here. Okay. Then I say, else if this dot salary is equal to O dot salary, then return 0, and else return -1. That is all. I implemented this method, compare to method. Okay. Now, see, this error is gone. If I need to print this, what I'll do, I can print this. So, employee after sorting cell, and I'll print this in the list. Let's run this. Ah, okay. Okay, my bad. It is not printing in a proper way. So what I'll say for employee EMP, each employee in EMP list, what you need to do, you need to, why this is employee EMP. Okay, there was some spelling mistake. EMP in EMP list. Sysout ID is emp.id salary is emp.salary and name is emp.name. Let's see. So you see, now we got this 1000, 2000, 3000, and 5000. 1000 Kunal, 2000 Saurabh, 3000 Anu, and 5000 Gaurav. So we got this. Okay. So we got in salary ascending order. Let's say if we want to print sort the element based on salary, but in the descending order. How we can do that? Simply I'll say if this dot salary is less than 10, return 1. Means if first employee salary is lesser than the second employee salary, then you need to swap. So basically greater one will come first. If I run this, See, I got the reverse order. So that is how. So basically, now we can conclude that comparable makes well, any class comparable who implements that comparable interface. So this employee class is implementing comparable interface. The comparable interface giving employee class a capabilities so that it can sort its object on its own. Okay. And if we, so this is one example. Let's say if I want to sort on the basis of length of the name. So basically, what I am trying to say, these are four objects of employee. I am saying that Anu is the shortest name, so it should come first, then Kunal with the five character, then Gaurav with the six character, then Saurabh with the three, four, seven characters. How can I do that? Simply, I would say this dot name dot len greater than o dot name dot len greater than. If greater, first one is greater than square. Okay. If I run this now, I'll get this Anu, Kunal, Gaurav, Saurav. So you see, so that is how we can put our logic in compared to function on comparable interface. Okay. And comparable interface itself giving a capability to employee class so that it can join on its own. We just need to pass this in a short function. That's it. Now then what is compared to? Compared to also provides us let's same capability. So let's say if I change it to or let's do one thing. We were talking about this for time being. Let's comment this code. Okay. Now, again, let's come to this example. We have a list of integers. Okay. Now, if I need to sort this, but this time I don't want natural sorting. I want to sort those elements 12, 3, 1, 14 on the basis of last digit. If last digit is lesser, then it should come first. So, for example, in this case, it should come as 1, then 12, then 3, then 14. So, this is my custom logic. And how can I do that? So, if you see, if I call sort, it gives me one more method, which is comparator. Okay. So comparator basically second parameter is to determine the order of list. So basically we can put a custom order. How do we want to sort that and how we can achieve that? Let's say I will create, let me, I'll create one class here. This is my employee class. Okay, I'll create a class here. Let's say class custom come come. I created a class. Now, what I'll do, I'll say implement comparator interface and it will work on integers. Okay. Why comparator interface? Because if you see here in this short, it is taking second argument in any class which is implementing comparator interface. Okay. So I am creating a class which is implementing a comparator interface. So I created this class which is implementing comparator interface. Now it is showing me add unimplemented method. So if I go to comparator, comparator is a functional interface which has only one method which is compare. So I'll implement this. I'll say add implemented. Okay, cool. It would have the same logic. So what I'll say, How to get the last digit of any integer? I'll say int. Okay. Simply, I'll say if O1 modular division 10 is greater than, so this will provide the last digit of first integer. And I'll say O2 modular division 10 if first number last digit greater than last second number last digit, then swap it. Else if same I'll copy, and if I'll say if both are equal, then return 0, else return 1, else return -1. Okay. Now I'll pass this object. I'll say collections dot chart, not this chart. This time I'll use second. I'll use this. Okay. This is my list. I need to sort, but my comparison logic should be this. So basically, I'll pass object of this class, which is implementing comparator interface, custom comparator. I'll say new custom comparator. What it is saying, no enclosing space of implies accessible. What is this? Give me a moment. My bad. This should be here. Perfect. Now let's see. So after sorting, it is checking last digits. So 1, then 2, then 3, and then 4. So basically, comparator is also giving the similar capabilities to sort the or compare the objects or elements, but it is not defined inside the class. It is defined outside the class. Okay, so there are few differences. If I talk about comparator, it is part of java.util. If I talk about comparable, it is part of java.lang package. Okay. Comparable interface has method which is compareTo. Okay. And comparator has a method. Comparator has a method compare. Okay. So I have all these things I have documented here in this article, and in video description, I'll provide this article link as well. Okay. And it has all implementation over here, what we discussed in this video. Thank you.